Shabbat Shalom and greetings to you all. Now, the great Nobel laureate Robert Zimmerman turned 77 this week. He's still going strong. How awesome is that? And I could say that finally spring has sprung. It took a little while. In fact, it took quite a while. So cold in the Northeast that I doubted warm weather was coming this year. But with global warming and all, it had to come sometime. So get out and enjoy it. Do not stay cooped up inside. Speaking of being cooped up inside, I'm sure you all got up early last week to watch the royal wedding. I hear it was quite a show. I think the last one I saw any part of was the Charles and Diana show, and not because I got up to watch it, but because I was coming home then. I find it difficult to catch things on TV when it's in a faraway time zone, and the last Olympics were a perfect example of that. And I'm sure you all celebrated Shavuot, the gathering festival that honors the Great Epiphany. I'm sure you all took some time and remembered those in your life who are gone. In our public morning service, the Yizkor, we remember. We did our monthly New Moon Shabbat in the Yizkor service. It was very well attended, and the candles made a beautiful picture as the flames danced with the spirits of everyone invoked. You could just sense the elevation of souls taking place that night, my friend. And now we continue along. Here we are in the throes of the book of Numbers, getting ready to observe the most fascinating generation in history, the wilderness generation. Now, they're about to take up stakes and embark on a 40-year journey. And this week we see just a little bit more carryover from Leviticus, and we see a final piece of the census from last week. But there are three incredible things to take from this week's parsha that I want you to note. We read about the test for the unfaithful wife, and with it, the only mention of holy water in the Torah. And notice the test is only for a suspected unfaithful wife, not a husband. We also read about the Nazarite vow. And of course, the two most famous biblical Nazarites that come to mind would be Samson in the Old Testament and Jesus in the New Testament. You see, it was Jesus' hair that suggests he was a Nazarite and not part of the rightful high priest line. She asked me why. I'm just a hairy guy. I'm hairy noon and night. Hair that's a fright. I'm hairy high and low. Don't ask me why. Don't know. It's not for lack of bread, like the Grateful Dead. Darling, give me a head with hair. Long, beautiful hair. Shining, gleaming, streaming flax and wax. Give me down to their hair. Shoulder length or longer. Here, baby, there, mama, everywhere. Daddy, daddy, hair, 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 hair. Now, what a great show that was. I'm sure you all remember hair. And we also get to see the first priestly benediction. And that's probably the first instructed prayer, and it's still done to this day. So it's fascinating three things to notice in this parsha. But let's first take a moment and reflect on the prayers that we all engage in during the weekly ritual known as Shabbat. It's a time to cease, but more importantly, it's a time to connect, to bond with family and friends. So let's call everybody we know together as a like-minded group in a showing of faith, of love as a community, of fellowship. When we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody you know, physically, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov, Ubenai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Ubenai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community, 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 together. So as a community, let's all spread love, goodwill, fellowship to the entire world, my friends. And as we generate a spiritual connection that unites each of us together as a whole, Let's send out some special healing and renewal energy out to everybody we know. So think whoever you know right now that needs some healing or some renewal. Focus on them. Call their names, or think their names. For Ron, Elkie, for Bob, for Aubrey, for Sarah, Ben, Deborah, Lindsay, Nicholas the Alien, and of course the Bee. And make sure you include yourself, my friends, because you need renewal too. We all do. It is the kindness, healing, wishes, goodwill, and love that we all send out that circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit never dies. It always will exist. Me, Shabbat, Avotenu, Makor, Havaha, Vimotenu, may the source of strength to bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage, make our lives a blessing, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed the world over, my friends. As we send out Nass for renewal, we're asking for favors. It's what prayer is, and we're going to learn more about prayer this week. And we see perhaps, like I say, the first actual prayer in the Bible. Now, we've read of people praying, but we've not actually been given any prayers. And prayers are for us a chance to give thanks in exchange for the bounty we've actually received. And sometimes it's to ask for things, and it's okay to ask. It's kind of like asking Santa for stuff for Christmas. And it's our opportunity to engage our senses, our total selves in spiritual connection. And this is what we do with the Shabbat every week, when we take the time to light candles, share food and wine. The lighting of candles invokes our vision, because flame reminds us that within each of us lives the divine fire that can illuminate the darkest of places. We raise our cup thankful for the partnership we have with creation, and we take the bread of the earth, the bread of life, and in tasting it we share the grain of truth. And we do these things every week, we do these things every day, we do these things for every meal, because these three things are keys to life. Light gives us strength, my friends. It shines a light on the fears that we carry. Water, juice, wine, whatever it happens to be, and bread, well, they're the objects of sustenance that keep us alive. We receive our blessings and gifts of creation, of life from God, or whoever you believe in. So these little blessings is our turn to bless Him and to thank Him. It allows us to exercise gratitude, and it's so important to exercise gratitude. And in setting aside a few minutes of sacred time in your sacred space, it's your personal chance to honor God, or whatever name you give to whatever you happen to believe in. And this is a hymn that we say during the high holidays every year. Mi kamocha be'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'adar b'kodesh norah tahilot oseh fe'lah. Norah tahilot oseh fe'lah. Who is like you, O God among the gods worship? Who is like you, God of gods revered? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, fearsome with splendors, working wonders? And like I say, you can sing that hymn to whatever you believe in. Remember, this is your creation of sacred time in your own sacred space to talk to whoever you happen to believe in. It's a part of your kavanah, your intention, your goodwill, my friends. Like I say, this we read some really interesting things as we read naso, take up. Numbers 5:12. Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, any man whose wife will go astray and will make a breach of faith with him. How's that for a term? Go astray. Now this situation becomes known forever as the case of the sota, a woman whose husband suspects her of adultery, but who has not been proven guilty by evidence or witnesses, so she must face the test of the bitter water. And there's a huge Talmud tract on this called Sota, the straying woman. Now normally, you'd pass over it as just another law. except for two things. First, it's regarded as the only case of trial by ordeal in the Bible. And second, because questions about the legal status of women have risen to such prominence in today's day and age that we need to examine this more carefully. Now, the woman is made to drink a mixture of holy water, dust from the tabernacle floor, and then some ink from a document, which expresses a curse if she's found guilty. Numbers 5:17. And the priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel, and from the earth that is on the floor of the sanctuary, the priest shall take and put into that water. Okay, now this is the Bible's only actual reference to holy water. And notice there's no equivalent trial for males here. So you have to understand that the biblical definition of adultery was a little bit different. And so this was not applicable to men at all. It's a law which has been debated for millennia. What was the point in this law? What was the point in this strange method of trial that belongs more to Salem than Jerusalem? And notice that even if the woman shown guilty, she's not executed, which elsewhere is the penalty for adultery in the Bible. So it stands out. It's just so different in every way. Now, it's been suggested that the woman is pregnant, but has not slept with her husband. That's why her pregnancy is proof of adultery. No witnesses. The condition of pregnancy is the witness itself. The purpose of drinking the mixture is not to prove her guilt, but to bring about the curse. Therefore, it's called the bitter cursing water. And that's why the law applies only to women and only to the matter of adultery, because pregnancy doesn't occur anywhere else. It is the only offense in the Torah in which guilt can be determined by a biological fact, even when there are no witnesses and no other evidence. And this is why the woman cannot be executed. She's not been proven guilty in front of judges in a court of law through witnesses, and we saw that already, that's required. Now, she's been shown to have done this in front of priests at the tabernacle. It's not the same. Now, the rabbis of the Talmudic era were completely unclear about the actual procedures for this because it had not been practiced in recent memory. It is from a truly archaic law, one that emanated before the time of the first temple in Jerusalem because it required dust from the tabernacle floor. And the tabernacle was only in the first temple, not in the second. And for hundreds of years, it was part of a movable thing. Okay, so it's so archaic. And it's got to be examined because of what it is. Now, next comes one of my favorite parts of the Torah, and it's in Numbers 6:1. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, when a man or a woman will expressly make a Nazirite vow and make a separation for God." Now, notice it says a man or a woman. Now, the rest of the law is stated in masculine, like so many of the laws are. But the entire matter of choosing to be a Nazirite applies to both men and to women equally. Now, how progressive is that, especially coming on the heels of the Sotah law, which applies only to women? Now, a Nazirite vows to give up certain things and to live in a state of holiness, even though all the people are considered holy. The Nazirite gives up 3 things and is considered holier. Gives up consuming alcohol, coming near to dead persons, and of course, cutting his or her hair. Almost cut my hair. Happened just the other day. It was getting kind of long. I could have said it was in my way, but I didn't, and I wonder why. But of course, if you're a Nazirite, there's no wondering why. It's simply not allowed. You cannot cut your hair. So why? Why these 3 things? Well, these 3 things are specifically related to priesthood, and particularly to the high priest. And you have to know the difference here, because the high priest is commanded to do the opposite of the Nazirite here. Numbers 6:5. The Nazirite shall grow the hair of his head loose, but the high priest shall not let loose the hair of his head. This way each was always known. When you saw the long hair, you knew it was a Nazirite. When you saw no hair, you knew it was the priest. So why was such an interesting mechanism put in place? Well, you got to remember the clergy in Israel. It's not open to most Israelites to choose, but only to tribal Levites, and only by heredity, and then only to males. And the priesthood itself comes to be limited only to a certain family within the tribe, the family of Aaron. And the high priesthood is limited to a son of the preceding high priest. See, prophets can be from any tribe and can be male or female. One becomes a prophet by being called by God. And post-biblically, of course, rabbis replaced priests as the primary clergy of the Jews, and membership in the rabbinate, it's open to absolutely anyone who chooses it and proves capable of qualifying and carrying it out. Now, originally, it too was limited to males, but in the present generation, the Reform, Conservative, and Reconstructionist movements have included both females and males. So what option does a person in the biblical world have who's drawn to the holy life of a priest, but is not a male Levite from the family of Aaron? Well, such a person can only choose to be a Nazirite. And you know them by their hair. You don't know whether somebody drinks or not, right? So you never know whether Samson drank wine. And he was different because even though he was a Nazirite from birth, and he's forbidden to cut his hair, which becomes the key to his story, he's not actually forbidden to have contact with dead bodies, which is also essential to his story, because he becomes a warrior and he personally creates thousands of dead bodies when he takes the jawbone of the ass and he kills all those people. So there's always exceptions. So the way to know what you're dealing with is you simply look for the hair. It is the dead giveaway. Now, Numbers 6:7 kind of has a reference to it. For his father and for his mother, for his brother, for his sister, he shall not become impure for them when they die, because the crown of his God is on his head. Now, this reference to the crown of his God on his head is, of course, a reference to the hair of the Nazirite. And there's an interesting tractate from the Pirkei Avot, and this has nothing to do with it, of course, the Ethics of the Fathers, which was a compilation of the ethical teachings of the rabbis of the Mishnaic period. And it was extremely unique because it was purely based on ethics and had no halacha, no law attached to it. And it made reference to 3 crowns of Jewish life in relation to the importance of things. And it specifically was about the importance of your name. Because your name is given to you, but your reputation is earned. And so Rabbi Shimon said there were 3 crowns. The crown of Torah, the crown of priesthood, which again is a reference to the hair, and the crown of kingship. The crown of good name is superior to them all. We must strive, my friends, to always have balance between law, spirit, and leadership in all of our lives. And this all leads to what we then see as the first real prayer of the Bible. Numbers 6:23. Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, this is how you shall bless the children of Israel. Say to them. So it's a new form of expression that now enters the biblical narrative, an expression called prayer. In earlier books, there have been depictions of individuals in prayer, but Numbers includes a formal prayer commanded to be said verbatim by the priest, known forevermore as the priestly benediction. And it can be found in Numbers 6:22 to 27. Now, this blessing has been pronounced upon the congregation by those of priestly descent, presumably from biblical period until the present day, which is thousands of years. Numbers 6:24. May the Lord bless you and watch over you. Now, what you don't notice here, unless you look at the biblical Hebrew, is the language of the priestly benediction, like the Decalogue, is formulated in the second person singular. And it's said to you and to you alone. Now, although the priests are instructed to bless the entire people with it, and although it historically has always been pronounced as a congregational blessing during the high holidays, Yom Kippur in particular, it is both a personal and a communal blessing. Now, in 3 brief lines, the priests wish each individual Israelite divine blessing, protection, favor, grace, attention, and peace. Number 6:25. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Number 6:26. May the Lord raise his face to you and give you peace. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred and so is everything in it. Express your gratitude. Light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, and honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light. And continue to shine. Send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, an end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other, we share this ride together, men and women equally. So let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive. Learn to love, including yourself. Open your hearts. Take advantage of the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you do love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy your journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now bless you all. Have a great week. A week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intention and think about what you're doing, because we set in motion all that happens in our lives, our intention, our Kavanaugh, our cause or effect. Everything is linked together. You always have time to forgive and to be forgiven, because you have the knowledge of what is good and bad. So acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged, and ask for forgiveness. Do so with sincerity, accountability, and vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and more compassionate in life. Because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life just as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings and that forgiveness brings. Do not stop your journey, my friends. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It's your home. So keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. And remember to have faith and unwavering adherence to principle. Just as I have faith in the principle of love, and all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none. Defraud none. Hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace this year. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere. And work to be present in the body. Expand your heart. Quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. My friends, please embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone's always going to be there for you whether you know it or not. And continue to explore faith and belief. And don't accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together. We help each other. We are each of us trying to find love, acceptance, and support in our world. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives. So find them and tell them that without them we endure life, but with them we rejoice in it. And we love to rejoice in life, my friends. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha Ya'er panav v'alecha v'hunecha Yisa Adonai panav v'alecha v'yasem lecha shalom v'yasem lecha shalom v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord bless and keep you. May his grace and his face shine upon you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. And give you peace. And give you peace. And you know what, friends? I'm honored to be able to bestow that priestly blessing on every couple that I marry. Be happy, be healthy, be helpful, be kind, be loving, and print your will on the blank canvas of life. Keep celebrating being free to be you. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all, and we will see you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.